A girl's home was suddenly broken into by 4 kidnappers. She hid under the bed, not daring to make a sound. A flashlight fell to the ground, and the girl immediately turned the flashlight's direction. Thanks to her quick reaction, the kidnappers didn't discover her. After confirming the room was empty, the kidnappers turned on the lights and took off their masks. The girl was so frightened that she tightly closed her eyes, her whole body trembling nonstop. However, the kidnappers had no intention of leaving. It turned out that the kidnapper boss, who had been lying on the bed, was stabbed by the girl's boyfriend downstairs earlier. Thinking that her boyfriend might have been killed, tears began to flow from the girl's eyes. But in order to avenge her boyfriend, she had to find a way to leave this place. Just as the girl was in despair, an opportunity arrived. 2 of the kidnappers were arranged to go downstairs to clean up the scene, leaving only one person to take care of the boss. At this time, the boss's injuries became increasingly severe. In order to alleviate the boss's pain, the kidnapper decided to search for methods online. However, he accidentally knocked over his backpack and the phone inside fell out. The girl also saw hope. She observed the kidnapper while slowly moving outward with a wooden stick. Just as she was about to hook the backpack, the kidnapper suddenly turned his head. The girl was so frightened that she didn't dare to breathe. Fortunately, the kidnapper didn't discover her. The girl quickly hooked the backpack and slowly pulled it over. But worried that the friction sound would be too loud and expose herself, the girl made a bold decision. She carefully stretched out her body, her left hand about to reach the strap. But at this moment, the boss's hand suddenly fell down. The girl didn't dare to hesitate and pulled the backpack in with one swift motion. If she had been a second later, she would have been discovered by the kidnapper. The girl took out the phone and began editing a distress message. Unfortunately, before she could send it, the phone ran out of battery. The girl was instantly in despair, but even more misfortune was yet to come. In order to slow down the boss's bleeding, the kidnapper called his accomplice to help lift the bed. The girl was so scared that she tightly closed her eyes and silently prayed. But just as they lifted it halfway, they put it back down. It turned out that the kidnappers learned through a photo that the lady of the house was a doctor, so they immediately tied her up. Faced with the kidnappers' threats, the woman could only obediently listen. After successfully treating the boss's wounds, she was tied up again and locked up together with her son. Meanwhile, the father beside them was fully dressed, and the kidnappers even helped him adjust his tie. Then the father was dragged into a car by the kidnappers. It turned out that they wanted to use the father's identity as a bank manager to rob the largest vault in the area. At this time, the girl under the bed, holding an alarm clock, had a plan in mind. She set the alarm clock and pressed the countdown button. Then, she gently threw the alarm clock into the corner and silently waited for it to ring. Hearing the ringing sound, the kidnapper went to check. The girl seized the opportunity and quickly ran out of the room. The girl constantly adjusted her breathing. After confirming she wasn't discovered, she tiptoed downstairs, not daring to make even the slightest sound. But when she reached downstairs and was about to open the door, she found that the door handle was actually turning.